Good afternoon and welcome to the Tennessee State Funding Board for August 21st, 2023. I will call the meeting to order and I will note the presence of a physical quorum. In accordance with 2023 Public Chapter 300, you may remember we adopted guidelines at our last meeting to recognize public comment if there is any. Sandy, was there any request for public comment?
There were no requests for public comment.
All right, thank you. With there being no request for public comment, we will consider that item addressed. The first action item on the agenda today is consideration for approval of minutes from the June 27th, 2023 meeting. Members, I hope you took time to review those minutes in your packet before the meeting. And if we can, have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes. Have a motion properly seconded. Are there any questions or discussions on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as presented, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign? The item is approved. Next on the agenda today is a report from the Department of Economic and Community Development for approval of funding for 8 fast track projects. And members, unless there are any objections, I'll ask the folks here, the commissioner and folks here from the Department of Economic Development to present all 8 projects, and we'll consider them all at once. Any objection? If not, Commissioner McWhorter and others, you are recognized to come on down and proceed. And as usual, is Commissioner Vandermeer going to go first?
Yes, thank you for having us. And I would, yes, defer the opening with Mr. Vandermeer. He's always got some numbers to share to start us off, so I'll have him do that now.
Thank you. You're recognized.
Thank you. As of our last report, we had a balance of $253.1 million. Since that point, we're reflecting new appropriations of $434.5 million. That's comprised of an additional $300 million supplemental for a new project, $4 million in interest that was recorded for May and June, $109,988,200, which is our FY24 fast track appropriation, and also $20,500,000 for the Coffee County site was appropriated. We have newly deobligated funds of $9.9 million. Fast track funds transferred to fast track. Last meeting, we reflected that same amount as being transferred out of fast track, and that was part of the acquisition of the Coffee County site. Since that point, I've learned that that money is not actually going to go to Department of General Services, which is what I thought last time that would go transfer to them. Instead, we're going to be billed directly when that closing happens. And so that when that closing happens, that's going to hit fast track funds directly. So we're moving that money back into fast track. So it'll be there when we actually get the billing. Grants greater than $750,000, $20.9 million. Grants less than $750,000 is $626,000. We've had fast track admin of $253,100. That leaves us with a balance of $678.1 million, against which we have $547.6 million of commitments. That leaves us with an uncommitted balance of $130.5 million, which is 80.8% committed. Projects proposed today are $22,204,000. That would leave us with an uncommitted balance of $108,306,838.11. And that's 84% committed.
Very good. Members, any questions, comments? If not, Commissioner, you're recognized, and you can go ahead and go through all 8 items if you want to.
Thank you. And also joining us is Alan Borden. I think you all know Deputy Commissioner Alan Borden.
Yes.
So the first project is Hannon Systems in Loudoun City, Loudoun County, headquartered in South Korea for more than 3 decades. Hannon Systems is a leader supplier of thermal and energy management solutions in the automotive industry. Hannon Systems operation in Loudon will supply thermal solutions for electrified mobility to automakers serving the North American market. The company is committed to create 600 net new jobs and make a $166 million capital investment over 5 years, or within the 5 years. The company will have an average hourly wage of $21.97, which compares to the county median wage of $15.82. Fast Track Economic Development grant funds will help offset expenses such as fixture improvements, new building construction, for a total of $4.5 million. Second project is Inchem America in Brownsville, Haywood County. Inchem is a subsidiary of Inchem Co., which is based in another South Korea company. The company specializes in the development and manufacturing of electrolytes and other additives for rechargeable batteries. The Brownsville facility will manufacture electrolytes for electric vehicles, batteries, as well as other EV battery-related services. Inchem is committed to create 190 net new jobs and make a $152.5 million capital investment within 5 years. Their average wage is $27.62 compared to the Haywood County median wage of $17.08. Pretty good project. Fast Track Economic Development grant funds will help offset expenses for such as new building, construction, acquisition of real property for $2 million. The third project is actually Magna Seating of America, and you're going to hear Magna mentioned here in the next several projects. I'll try to explain these, and also just want you all to know this as well, that this Magna is part of Blue Oval City. They're there because of Blue Oval City, but I will assure you that this was a very competitive project for us. They were looking at several other states. They didn't have to be there at the Blue Oval City site, contiguous states with who we compete with for projects like this. So just want to make sure, and we can answer any questions related to that, but it was a very competitive and a great win, I think, for the state. So Magna will supply Ford Blue Oval City with battery enclosure, truck frames, and seats for the automaker's second generation electric truck. The first project is a 140,000 square foot seating facility. This facility produced polyurethane foam and assemble in a sequence of just-in-time complete seats. This project will create 295 net new jobs and make a $77.5 million capital investment. The hourly wage is $35.34 compared again to the Haywood County median wage of $17.08. Fast Track Economic Grant Fund to help offset, again, building expansion, improvements, acquisition of real property for a total of $3 million. The next project is Cosma International of America, which is part of Magna as well. In this particular, this is Blue Oval City in Haywood County in Stanton. This is an 800,000 square foot building that will be making frame and battery enclosures. It is the company Cosma International has committed to create 750 net new jobs and make over $516 million capital investment within 5 years. Again, the county median wage is $17.08. This project is going to be paying $41.25 an hour. Another great high skilled job. Fast Track Economic Development grant will offset, again, building retrofit, expansion, improvements, new building construction for $7.5 million. The next Cosma International project is the one that we announced in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. This is a stamping and assembly facility in Lawrenceburg. They're committing 250 net new jobs, almost a $200 million capital investment within 5 years, at an hourly wage of $44.19 compared to the county median wage of $16.28. Next project is McNeilus Truck and Manufacturing, Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. McNeilus is a market leader manufacturer of purpose-built commercial vehicles and equipment. So just as a reminder, back in August of 22, McNeilus Truck and Manufacturing committed to create 230 net new jobs and make a $52.7 million capital investment. That was approved. And then they've come back and committed to create an additional 100 net new jobs for a total of 330. And they're going to make an additional $25.2 million capital investment in addition to the $52 million that they've committed over. So the total job is 330 new jobs and the total capital commitment is $78 million. $24.39 an hour on the wage compared to the $17.51 an hour median wage. So the request today, the request today is to increase the existing fast track economic development grant by $1.3 million. So the total would be the $3 million previously. We're adding the 1.32. The total package to McNeilus would be for $4.3 million. The next project is Kroger Company. You all know Kroger. They will construct a new central fill facility in Cleveland as its 5th U.S. location. They've committed to create 140 net new jobs and make a $40 million capital investment within 5 years. Hourly wage of $27.32 compared to the county median wage of $16.68 an hour. Fast Track Economic Grant Fund will help offset expenses such as fixtures, improvements, building expansion, building retrofit for a total of $1 million. And the last project is Lochinvar. It's a subsidiary of A.O. Smith Corporation, which you all probably are aware of and know. The company specializes in high efficiency water heating and manufactures residential commercial boilers, water heaters, heat pumps, etc. Originally, Lochinvar had committed to create 40 net new jobs, make a $20.8 million capital investment. They've come back and committed to create an additional 101 net new jobs for a total of 141 new jobs and make an additional $14.3 million capital investment for a total of just over $35 million capital investment within 5 years. The company will have an average hourly wage of $31.87 compared to the county median wage of $17.07. So the current request is to increase the existing Fast Track Job Training Assistance Program funds by $404,000 and combine it with the $160,000 that was previously approved. So that's what the request is for today for a Fast Track Training Assistance Program funds of $404,000. That's a lot. That's it.
Very good. Well, that's a lot of exciting things. That's a lot of companies that want to be growing and operating in Tennessee, which we're excited about. Members, on the 8 items together, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion properly seconded. Commissioner, as I always do, let me ask you for the record, in regard to these 8 projects, have the companies signed the incentive acceptance forms, and do they fully understand the agreements?
Yes, sir.
For these 8 projects, have the checklist been completed for each project? And for these 8 projects, do all of them include accountability agreements which provide protections to the state in the event the entities cannot fulfill their end of the deal?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Members, any further questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of the 8 projects as described by the commissioner, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, like sign? The items are approved.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all very much. Come back with this anytime.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Members, the next item on the agenda is a report item. It is the annual report on request for approval of balloon indebtedness. And I believe Steve Osborne from the Comptroller's Office of Local Government Finance is going to present. Steve, if you will, please summarize and briefly deliver the report.
Thank you, Comptroller, members of the board. We bring our balloon indebtedness report this year with a new format, adding charts and descriptive sections for better understanding from the public. This is for our second consecutive year. We have received and approved only 4 requests for balloon indebtedness. 22 and 23 represent the lowest number since this law has come into effect in 2015. We attribute that to higher borrowing costs and lower refunding amounts. Of the 4 requests, 3 were for new money bonds. 1 was for refunding bond. The new money requests were for 1, repurchase of natural gas, 2, airport improvements, and 3 was the new Titan Stadium. The airport bonds were able to be issued without a balloon structure. Any questions?
Members, any questions or comments? If not, appreciate it. You can proceed.
All right. Our next is our Industrial Development Board report. It too.
And let me,
Oh, sorry, sir.
I'm sorry, let me officially make sure we understand that the next report that Steve is going to deliver is the annual report on outstanding debt for industrial development boards.
Correct.
So we concluded the balloon indebtedness report. We're now moving to the outstanding debt for IDBs. Steve, you're recognized.
Like the balloon indebtedness report, the IDB has a new structure with charts and description for better public understanding. This is the fourth year of our IDB debt report. This year, we received report all active of the 192 IDBs. So first time that has happened. We're very proud of the IDBs for all reporting this year. Of the 93 counties that have IDBs outstanding, 39 had no debt outstanding. The remainder had debt outstanding, of which 212 were conduit issues and 101 were direct issues. Nashville remains the largest IDB by number of issues at 85 and with the largest outstanding amount of just slightly over $1 billion. Any questions on the report?
Members, any comments or questions? If not, Steve, thank you. The reports are acknowledged, both reports, and we appreciate your presentation.
Sure.
Members, next on the agenda today is item number 6, a report on notice of default by Economic Development Growth Engine Industrial Development Board of Memphis and Shelby County, on known as EDGE. And Steve Osborne, Local Government Finance, you are requested to present on that as well.
Thank you, sir. The EDGE the Economic Development Growth Engine, IDB of Memphis and Shelby County, has filed its 6th default notice with LGF. This notice represents a change from the prior notices in that now the Series A bonds have reported as being in default. The A bonds are the senior bonds of the 5 bond series, and along with the 6th default of the Series D bond represent this report. The default of the A bonds is due in part to a successful appeal by the Graceland Estate on one of the parcels of land, which created a lower amount of tax base that paid into the TIF tax increment financing for the bond payment. There was also an overpayment of the debt service funds from the trustee in the prior year. The combination of those two allowed, and the reduction in the outstanding debt service reserve fund created for insufficient funds. Subsequent to the report to us of the default, the trustee decided to transfer $800,000+ to the bondholders. So a partial payment was made, but they were still left unpaid for almost $1 million worth of bonds. The Series D bond is in its 6th year of default. The A bonds are a default under the indenture and state law. The D bonds are not a default under the indenture, but they are under state law. Any questions on this?
Thank you. And Steve, can you, as far as the Series A bonds go, is there any public money involved in that?
There is none.
There is not in the Series
And
A.
there's no recourse to the state, the city, the county, or the IDB.
Thank you. Is anyone here from the EDGE, or is Mr. McLaren online? No. No one present personally or online from EDGE. Members, any questions or comments in regard to the report?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr.
what
Treasurer.
Follow-up action is going to be taken in regard to these sequential notices we've been getting.
Well, and thank you. That's one of the questions I had was regarding, the sanctity of public money in regard to this. This is a different type of investment than we see sometimes. It involves public money. Of course, this is in a zone approved by the legislature and even expanded by the legislature year before last, I think. And that's why I asked if anyone was here from Edge in particular, their attorney, Mr. McLaren, who I may request to come to our next meeting to see what the forecasted future is there, and in that there's not public dollars at stake here per se. I think it's open for discussion in the future.
Well, we do have headline risk in the sense that these bonds are issued by an industrial development board of Memphis and Shelby County, Tennessee. The word Tennessee is on the issuer's name and bonds that were issued. So, it's what bond lawyers call headline risk. So that at least gets my attention about it, if nothing else does.
I agree. Very good. Sandy, if you will please make a note, and I will do this personally, but if you will also reach out to Mr. James McLaren, attorney for this Industrial Development Board, and ask him to be prepared to attend the next meeting of the funding board in regard to this issue. Any other questions or comments? Yeah, thank you, Steve. That
Thank you,
report is, or no, I'm sorry, back to the commissioner.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. I want to go back to the previous two reports and just thank you for making them more visual.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that. For people like me, it's a lot easier to look through these reports when they have some pictures.
That was 100% our director, Sheila Reed. But thank you for,
I just wanted to commend you on that. I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a report on the state of Tennessee general obligation bond and commercial paper indebtedness. Sandy Thompson, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. On an annual basis, we report to the State Funding Board what the general obligation debt outstanding is, both for our long-term debt and our commercial paper program. In your packets, you see there's a report there that outlines those amounts as of June 30th, 2023. Our commercial paper outstanding, the total amount $72,938,000. For our total bonds outstanding, taxable and tax exempt, is $1,374,695,000. Of course, these numbers do not include the bond sale that we just had last week. So we will report on that at the next meeting once we close our bond sale next week. And then there's a report following that gives you some of the statistics on the commercial paper program. It shows you what the average daily balance is for the taxable and tax exempt for the period of July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2023, and what the interest rate ranges were for that time period for both taxable and tax exempt. As you can see, the taxable now is up to about a 5.37%, and the tax exempt is about a 3.65. And it gives you the weighted average yield for those interest rates as well. And then also we listed out the expenses that we incur when we're managing the commercial paper program, such as the interest that we pay, the standby purchase agreement fee, the dealer services, and the issuing and paying agent rating fees. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Members, any questions or comments? And Sandy, while it hasn't closed yet, is there anything you can say in regard to the sale we had? I feel like it was a successful undertaking and really pretty pleased with it.
We always look at the following day at what the market has done once we've sold the bonds. And so the market did move against us the next day. So, right.
So what that means is Sandy's day she picked. I mean, she's clairvoyant. She picked the right day. That's what that means.
Do that. But as you know, we were selling our bonds on or around the time that Metro sold theirs.
Yeah.
Sold ours a week later, and of course we'll all close pretty much simultaneously next week. But it was a successful sale, I think, considering the interest rate environment that we're in. A 3.68 on a tax exempt. That's the total interest cost is excellent for 20 years, I think. And then we had a 4.99 on the taxable issue. So,
Thank you.
Very good.
Very good.
So the money for the stadium is there, or will be, when these things close, which is next week for us. So with that being said, members, there are no more items on the funding board's agenda. Would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn made, properly seconded. All those in favor of adjournment, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.